Hello everyone and welcome to Mathematics. So today we'll focus on functions, and here's everything you need to know on inverse functions. So what are inverse functions? So a simple example, let's say if we want to go from x to x minus 1, we need to use f. So what if we want to go the other way around? So we will use f inverse, okay, to get back the original value. So in SPM, we need to learn how to solve inverse functions. Okay, so let me use these two functions as our example, and there are two cases. So one is given the original function, we need to find the inverse, or given the inverse, we need to find the original. So for this question, we need to relate back to the washing clothes example. So for both cases, let us assume that the given function here is the dirty shirt. So in this case, this dirty shirt inside and outside is dirty. Okay, and another thing here is we need to use these two equations for each of the case, right? So later I'll explain where does this come from, but let us assume that all these equations here are all soaps, right? So going back to the problem here, we have an shirt which is inside and outside is dirty. So how do we solve? So firstly, let us use the first soap to wash the outside first, right? Then later on, we flip the shirt inside out and use the second soap to clean the inside. So once we've done that, we flip the shirt back. So for both cases, assume that the orange color functions are the dirty shirt, right? And for these two equations, so this one, the first one, is actually for the given function here, we assume that it is y. Okay, so this is my first equation. Then for the second equation, it's actually formed by moving this f to the other side. So moving f to the other side means f inverse of y equals to x. As you can see, this and this will be the same. So it's just moving this f to the other side, that's all. And let's assume that these two equations are the soaps. So the first step is to apply the first soap to the shirt, or means this first equation need to apply to the f of x, this equation. Okay, so let me change this f of x to y. The second step, flip the shirt. So means instead of y on the left, we need to change it where x is on the left. So this needs a little bit of rearranging. Then the third step which is to use the second soap. So this x, I need to change it to f inverse of y. Then lastly, we need to flip the shirt again, which means all the y's we need to change it back to x. Reason is because the things inside the bracket from the question is x, so we need to follow. So same goes with case number 2. So we let the given function as y, and then the second equation is just f moving to the other side. So this would be f of y equals to x. Okay, same thing as well. So we assume that these two equations are soaps. So the first step, use the first soap, apply to the shirt. The first equation apply to the given function. So this f inverse will become y. Then we need to flip the shirt, means x should be on the left. Third step, use the second soap, x, change it to f of y. Then lastly, flip back the shirt, so y, we need to change it back to x. Again, this is because the question requires. So in summary, for both cases, our first step is apply the first soap or the first equation to the dirty shirt, or the f of x, which is the given function. Then later on, we need to flip the shirt or switch y to x on the left side of the equation. Then later on, we need to apply the second soap or the second equation, which is this. Then later on, we need to flip the shirt again and switch y to x. And lastly, is there any other thing we need to know for inverse functions? Okay, yes there is, which is this graph. Right, so let's say we have this graph f, and it goes from 1 to 10, right? So if let's say we have this line y equals to x, and if I use this line as the mirror and to draw the image of this f, technically that graph would be the f inverse. Okay, so this means these two lines, right, are the reflections of each other in the line y equals to x. Okay, so the image of f from this line would be this inverse line, or this inverse line. If I reflect on this y equals to x line, it will produce this f line. And the second thing is, domain of f is the same as the range of f inverse, or range of f is the domain of f inverse. Okay, so let me give you an example. Okay, let's say this f, right? This 1 to 10 is the value of f of x, which means this is the range, right? This is the range. This one, it is the values from the x-axis. X-axis means this is the domain. So the range of f is 1 to 10, right? Which is this one. Range of f is 1 to 10. So I would expect that the domain of f inverse is 1 to 10. Okay, as you can see here, the domain of f inverse is 1 to 10. Okay, so for this table, you don't have to memorize, just know that everything will be in reverse. So let's say that if you want to find the range of f, you just reverse everything. Domain, you change it, the range you change it to domain, the f you change it to f inverse. So you know you need to find domain of f inverse to find range of f. Okay? And lastly, this inverse function, if you focus on the line f, it must be a 1-to-1 relation. Okay, so sometimes we need to use the horizontal line test to help us test whether that function is it an inverse function or not. So this horizontal line test is if the line intersects 2 or more points on the function f, it will not be an inverse function. Okay, but for this case, you can see that it does not, right? For any point, it only intersects one point. So this line passes this test, which means this line is a inverse function. Otherwise, you won't find out this image. You cannot draw out this image. Okay? So another additional question. What is the value of f inverse of fx? Okay, so if we use, if we try to calculate f of x, we just substitute the value 2x minus 4 here. Then we substitute this 2x minus 4 to this function, right? So x here will become this value. Okay, and you see that the answer is x, which is the original value x. So this can be explained from this graph. Okay, so again you can see here, right? X here starts from f, so means this x I put it to f first, so it actually changes to x minus 1, let's say, example lah. Then later on I apply f inverse, so here from this value I go back to x, so you can see that it travels one cycle. Original value, go back to x minus 1, and then go back to the original value again. So the answer would be x. Okay? So you all can try by yourself for this one as well, f inverse x, and you will notice that the answer would be also x. Right? Again, it's because we are going one cycle. So this is everything you need to know on inverse functions, and if you want to view more questions regarding inverse functions, feel free to click the links in the video description. And thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see y'all in the next videos. Bye bye.